Hello everyone, hi, it's Hiru and a very warm welcome to Friday's Q&A. So today's question is all about a very common question actually that I get asked as a business coach. What can I do? I have a great product, program or service, but how can I increase my customer base to grow my services and my business really? So I'm going to answer that by looking at, I guess, three key things. The first is the time spent between the design of your product or program or service, whatever it is that you are selling, and the promotion and marketing of that. How you market that and who you market it to, that's number two. And how you know that's working and how you're measuring that. So let's go back to the first bit, which is the time you spent between designing your product or your service and marketing it. Most of us spend a disproportionate amount of time between the product design and marketing it. Now, I'm not suggesting that you spend any less time on designing your product necessarily, because it goes without saying that your product has to be user-focused, results orientated, really packed with value and actionable. That just goes without saying. But once you've done that and you've got a fantastic product in place, are you spending an equal amount of energy and resources trying to market that? And I just want, if you are struggling with this question, perhaps a very quick way of determining that is just, take a very simple piece of paper, split it in half on one side, put down all the effort and activity you've put into designing your product or service. And then on the other side, perhaps think about what you've done in terms of marketing it and promoting it. Now that could be that you've handed that over to somebody else or that you've done it yourself, but it doesn't matter. I just want you to put down the effort and activity and then consider the proportion of the two. So that's number one. Are you putting in as much effort, having put together such a fantastic product or service? What are you doing with it? The second is, how are you marketing and to whom? And by that I mean, first of all, what channels of marketing are you using? And often people are driven by what is considered to be currently popular. So for instance, a lot of us, including myself, use Facebook ads and other adverts on social media. But before you jump in on what seems to be working for other people, consider where your audience is likely to be. Are they likely to be on Facebook? Is that the place where you're likely to find them, or more likely to find you? Or other social media outlets like Twitter advertising or Instagram advertising? Or are your users and your potential clients likely to be in the traditional areas of marketing and advertising, maybe in newspapers or wherever? So do give some thought to that, because just because you're promoting won't necessarily get you the results if you're not aiming that marketing activity to the right area where your audience is likely to be. So once again, it comes down to knowing your audience inside out and knowing where they're likely to be before you start thinking about which channels to use for your marketing. And then really thinking about, once you have an idea about who your audience is, the sort of channels you want to use, rather than just dipping into this whole marketing activity, you want to have a clear strategy for your marketing. Who are you going to market? When are you going to market them? How often are you going to market them? What's your marketing spend going to look like? And most importantly, how will you know it's worked? So all of that should be in some sort of strategy, ideally documented, but at least in your head, be very clear about those issues so that you can test each stage as you go along. And finally, I want to pick up on the point I've just made about how will you know it's worked? Because we often throw money at marketing and sometimes we get some early results. It may then plateau out, or you may not get the sort of results that you want. So at which point do you decide this marketing activity is either working for me or not working for me? Well, one of the areas that is often neglected, hugely neglected, are the analytics that are available, particularly if you are doing your marketing online, but not necessarily just online. Even the traditional marketing routes, you will be able to create some analytics to decide what works for you. So don't underestimate the value of those analytics so that you can decide on whether something's worked for you. So as an example, if you've put in an advert, say into Facebook, and you've decided that you're going to utilize X amount of resources, I don't know, $10 a day or whatever it is, how do you know that your $10 is paying off if you are not checking your analytics? How do you know who's looking at your advert? How do you know which of those are converting? So you really do need to pay attention to those things. So having a great product is great, but no one knowing about it is not so good. So you've got to do the right amount of, first of all, the right promoting and marketing for yourself and your users. That's right for you. And then doing the right amount of promoting and marketing activity, engaging that and testing it to make sure that it's right for you. So I hope that's answered the question. As with everything, it comes down to knowing your customers, knowing your potential customers really well, what they want, what they need, and working back from that. Okay, until next time. See you soon. Bye.